share with you one of my favorite Palestinian recipes, and that's labneh. And we're going to veganize it. And it's going to be the perfect fuel for you to contact your representatives to help demand a ceasefire so Israel stops these war crimes and stops killing children. Essentially, labneh is just a strained yogurt cheese. So what we're gonna do is make a yogurt from soy milk and coconut milk, but you can really make it out of any milk that you'd like. However, I found that this blend of coconut and soy has the best mouthfeel, and it's like, it separates the best. It's super rich, super delicious. So we're gonna do about 3 cups of soy milk. And now we're gonna add 1 can of coconut milk, but make sure that it's not from Thailand, because in Thailand they have like a thing called monkey slaves, and they force monkeys to pick coconuts for them and have them in chains and beat them. It's really awful. So I'm using this Trader Joe's coconut milk, and it's from Sri Lanka, so it is monkey slave free. Let's make this ethical. Option, you can either use like a tablespoon, like a spoonful of yogurt to make more yogurt. It's just that the bacteria that's in this yogurt will help culture the rest of this milk to make it all into yogurt. Now your other option is you can use kefir instead. Now I have a water kefir, and this will also culture and curdle this milk so that way we can strain it to make labneh. So this is where you have a choice. You can use either kefir, or you can use just a spoonful of yogurt to make the base of this. So if your coconut milk is still kind of like solid, use like a whisk to kind of break it up so this is all like one big homogeneous mix. An Instant Pot, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it on here. My Instant Pot has a yogurt setting, and I'm gonna let this sit in the yogurt setting until you can see that it's like curdling. You'll notice that it's curdling when you'll see like a clear like liquid, and then you'll see like the solid milk. So it's gonna take a few hours. If you want your labneh to be more tangy, go for longer. The longer that you let this culture, the more sour and tangy it'll be. If you want a milder labneh that's more like a cream cheese, try to do it for less time, but do it for at least 4 hours. It's the next day, and we have our yogurt made, and what the next step is to strain it. So you're going to be left with both whey and labneh, or the cheese. So the best way to strain it is you can use something like this. This is just like a little wooden board with slots in it. And then I have this is actually like a tofu mold, like from like a tofu making kit. It works great for making cheese. So what we do is just put the little block over the wooden grate, and we'd line this with cheesecloth, right? Now you don't need to go and buy a tofu making kit to make this work. One of like the easiest ways that you can do it is just use like a little metal strainer like this. Then you can use like a little mold like this, and you line it, and you're still gonna use the cheesecloth, and then it can strain out, and then you'll be left with like a taller mold of labneh. And alternatively, you could use something like this, like a little steamer basket, have this lined with the cheesecloth, and you let it strain, and then you'll be left with the labneh. It's also important to use a high-grade cheesecloth like this. You can also use something like a tea towel. You just want it so that way it's thin enough that liquid can pass through, but it will hold the curds above the strainer. Now we're going to let this strain for about an hour. Not all of my yogurt fit in here, but as it strains, I'm gonna pour more of what's leftover yogurt on top of this, just as the liquid kind of goes down and there's more room for it. Put this strained yogurt in the fridge overnight, just so that way we get the most of the water out. And now it is totally solid. After you strain your labneh, you top it with a little bit of olive oil, za'atar, and pomegranates, and scoop it up. It's so delicious.